Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
So after the last bye week of the football season for Arkansas, I guess that means we've got to actually talk about a game coming up this weekend. Isn't that right? Yeah, there'll be a lot of coaching search talk, or at least coach talk. I don't know if you can put search into some of the discussions that we had last week after the, in a mid-season firing, you'd usually use the term unceremonious. No, that was a ceremonious firing of Chad Morris at the end of the Western Kentucky game, and mercifully a bye week, so you didn't have to get prepared for an opponent, or to be honest, just get prepared for another decapitation of the Razorbacks on the gridiron, one that will probably take place this weekend at LSU. I know we'll get into the betting line later on. It's definitely one that makes you grow a third eye with Arkansas, a 46-point underdog. So it was a good weekend. It was a great weekend because Arkansas football did not play, and plenty other teams or things going on around the state or even up on the Hill were on display. Arkansas basketball picks up 2 victories. The men over Montana on Saturday, the women over Stony Brook yesterday. I'm still out of breath calling yesterday's game, Ty. 88 points for the Razorbacks. That's the third fewest that they've scored this year in 4 games to score 88 points against a team that had allowed just 55 points a game over the first 3 games this year. Razorback soccer gets a win in the NCAA tournament. You had a great battle of the Ravine with Ouachita beating Henderson. You got a couple of Division II teams in this state that are going to the national playoffs. Arkansas State got a comeback win. Ty's healthy again. I think that's what goes at the top of the list, Ty Richardson. Never mind whatever else happened on a gridiron within the state of Arkansas or on a football field anywhere. The best part of this show today is that you finally have your energy back, your voice back, your scratchiness is gone, and it didn't take injecting yourself with any heavy drugs, or did you try some menudo? Did some spicy food do this for you? What got you healthy?
I had a Popeye spicy chicken sandwich last week. Me and Maddie T both tried that for the first time, so maybe it was that. I had some kickin' chicken from Arts. Maybe it was that. Went to Waco this week and had a great time down there. But I will say, Phil, that I am feeling a little guilty this morning because Betty's lost her voice. She's sick. John was throwing up this morning. Tommy says half the office is sick, so I'm probably impartial to blame for distributing my illness to some of the other coworkers here. Oh, also Brendan's not feeling well as well. So our intern is not feeling good either.
Never have I ever been so happy to host this radio show outside of the main studios.
I know.
At ESPN Arkansas.
Got the luxuries, man.
I thought I saw you pick your nose and wipe it on the microphone a few times last week. Is that what went on?
There's still blood on this mic. I'm kind of creeped out. I don't know if
Goodness gracious. I was just talking about mucus, not blood. Yeah. My gosh. Well, I'm glad to know you're feeling much better, and that you do feel guilty for starting an illness over there at ESPN Arkansas. It reminds me of one day that you ever have pink eye?
Yes.
It's miserable, isn't it? And I got pink eye. What grade was it? Was it like 3rd or 4th grade? I started a pink eye breakout in my school in like 3rd or 4th grade, and to this day, here it is. 30 years later, I'm still feeling terrible about it. So don't wash your hands ad nauseum, or don't go to work sometimes. But I'm glad you were there last week And I'm glad you're feeling much better and pass the virus along. Because that's what happens with a virus. It jumps out of your body and goes over to somebody else.
So I've also had a sty. Have you ever had a sty in your
Yeah, remember I cursed it on the show. I've had one the last 2 years.
That's
it's like the most disgusting thing that's ever been on my face.
It hurts so bad. And for those who don't know what a sty is, it's a buildup of dirt and bacteria, and it gets in your eyes. So there's like a pimple. That's the best illustration I could give you. It's like a pimple that is ragging your eyelid every time you blink, and it's so frustrating because you can't do anything about it except wash it. And it takes, what did it take, about a week or so for it to go away, Phil? I feel like that's kind of the typical time.
Took me a couple of weeks, man. It was not a fun time.
Yeah.
Not a fun. You can pass those along, too, if I understand correctly. So, but hey, there were other games, I guess, going on Saturday. And before we get into Arkansas, LSU, and the basketball games on campus, I guess we got to do a little coaching talk here. 877-377-6963 to get with us today through halftime up until 2 o'clock. That is the Cherokee Casino hotline. We'll take your calls and your texts all throughout the show. So, I mean, the name that keeps getting thrown around more than anybody else as far as the great 2019 Arkansas coaching search is concerned is Gus Malzahn. I mean, Bruce Feldman came out with it very early after Chad Morris's firing that he thought Malzahn would be target number 1 and that Mike Norvell would be target number 2. So, and I guess the idea of whether or not Malzahn is even available is what happens in the big games this year against Georgia, in which Auburn, as we've seen so often this season, the defense shows up and the offense either can't get anything going or can't find a way to get into the end zone enough. And now you're staring at playing against Alabama in a couple of weeks. And even though Alabama's defense isn't what it had been in previous years, the Auburn offense is stuck in neutral. I mean, they only able to put up 20 points against Ole Miss, 20 points against LSU. Just ball up and like I did the Wednesday after the Arkansas game that they put up 51 against the Hogs, ball that box score up and throw it away. That's Gus doing to Arkansas what he has done since he got there on the Plains. I mean, they blow out Arkansas year after year. Doesn't matter who's a quarterback. Doesn't matter what the shape of the offensive line is. Doesn't matter who their set of running backs are. When Arkansas and Auburn get together on the football field, it's just a disgusting blowout year after year after year. So, I mean, the idea is out there. And I'm just trying to challenge this idea a little bit. Why do you bring Gus Malzahn in as the head coach, if that's the choice, if that's where Hunter Yurachek goes, if he targets him, if there's interest coming from Malzahn? So why is that? And so oftentimes we point to overall win totals for a head coach anywhere, and for good reason, because when your name is at the top of the pyramid of the coaching staff, you get the W's and the L's. You know, it's not the offensive coordinator. It's not the defensive coordinator. It isn't even the athletic director. It's the head coach. So, I mean, Malzahn's record at Auburn definitely should at least stand for itself. 60 wins, 30 losses, and an appearance in a national title game, and they've been in a bowl game every single season. But what is Gus really known for, Ty?
His offense. And I think Clay Henry's brought it up. I think Connor O'Gara's brought it up, and maybe another analyst or someone that's on the show. Some people now in SEC circles think Kevin Steele is actually the best coach on that football staff.
That's exactly what Clay Henry told us last week, that if you're looking at the success of Auburn, not just this year, but really over the years in Malzahn's tenure, it's been defense that has won them games. And Kevin Steele's been running that defense for most of the time.
Yeah, and I know in 2013 they had a good defense at times, like Nick Fairley, and they had some guys, but it wasn't just as superior as it has been the last couple years. But I think it's irritating for Auburn fans because this was supposed to be the offensive savant. This was supposed to be the offensive guru. And, yes, Gus Malzahn has engineered some great games, but if you look at it, Nick Marshall and Cam Newton have been really the only two quarterbacks that are flat out just successful studs in the Gus Malzahn era. And Cam Newton was when he was an OC in 2010, and then Nick was his first year in 2013. They struggled in 2014 in terms of the win totals, and Jarrett Stidham, he had some spark games, he had some good games, great game against Alabama, great game against Georgia, but it wasn't throughout the season. And then you look at the Jeremy Johnson blow up. I forget the quarterback who came to Arkansas in 2015, but he wasn't that good. Todd something, I think was his name. But it's just been weird because this guy's been heralded for so long as a quarterback expert, similar to Dan Mullen. And if you actually dissect at his quarterbacksville, they haven't been that successful outside of Cam Newton and outside of Nick Marshall.
Well, you can make a case that Bo Nix has regressed this year. Jarrett Stidham got worse his second year with Gus Malzahn. And the whole idea of Cam Newton, look at it, you coach players, you do take, you do get to say that I coach this guy out of the way. This whole Cam Newton thing with Gus Malzahn to me feels a lot like Chad Morris always talking about Deshaun Watson over and over and over again. It's a long time ago. And I think that Newton's success at Auburn was more about Cam Newton than it was about the offensive coordinator at that time. We'll get into this later on in the show. We want your opinions. 877-377-6963. Halftime brought to you by Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. You can pick your deal right now at Breeden. Either sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. And, of course, you get free maintenance for life with any new purchase. Halftime coming back after the break. Stick around.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com. This is the Morning Rush.
You know, somebody actually texted into yesterday with a conspiracy that Jerry Jones is going to make sure that Urban Meyer is hired at Arkansas for 4 years, and then after 4 years, he's going to fire Jason Garrett at the Cowboys, and then he's going to make Urban Meyer the head coach of the Cowboys. And what's weird is I actually didn't totally think that that was the craziest thing I've ever heard when it comes to conspiracies.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com. A division of Quantum Property Services.
It's getting colder outside. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. So why pay more to heat your home and water? The convenience and abundant supply of American-produced natural gas makes it the right choice. Call AOG or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG. Energy for life.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
We can all use extra table space for holiday dinners. Stop in at Metters Lumber True Value for the 6-foot deluxe folding table at just $34.99. It's lightweight and easy to carry. It folds in half for easy storage and has a top that won't chip, peel, or stain. For extra seating, pick up one or more all-steel folding chairs too. Just $13.99 each. Head over to Metters Lumber True Value for these bargains of the month and other great deals while supplies last.
Save up to $2,700 or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The holiday sale is going on right now. Every hot tub in stock is on sale with over 60 luxury spas to choose from, and they start at just $26.95. Right now is the time. This includes delivery, cover, and startup chemicals. Stay warm and cozy this winter in your brand new hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. It's the perfect gift for you and your family. And right now, up to $2,700 off or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub. And as part of the holiday sale, check out the full line of Big Green eggs and accessories at Burton Pools and Spas. It's the holiday sale going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Mason leads the break, feeds Harris, back to Jones in the corner. Joe trails the play. Isaiah for three from the left wing. Joe with a tray, 47-33.
You hear the call of Chuck Barrett. That was part of Arkansas' 64-46 win against Montana on Saturday afternoon at Bud Walton Arena. Hogs were led by Jones's 19 points, 8 of them coming from the free throw line where he never missed. Hogs got the first career double-double from one Adrio Bailey, finishing with 12 points and 11 rebounds. And Eric Musselman's team continues to play some of the most stifling defense in the country over the first, week and a half of the season. So we'll see how this goes in a couple of months when you're playing against the SEC and bigger teams overall. But as of right now, Ty, I mean, what's defense all about? What is defense all about? It's about effort. It's about being prepared, and it's about buying in to playing defense. And to a man, when you watch this Arkansas team swarm around defensively, they definitely are giving great effort. They're being prepared, probably better than they've ever thought they could be, and they're buying in completely. Many of them from Mike Anderson's team from last year and previous seasons, and they've bought in hook, line, and sinker with Eric Musselman.
And I think one of the things you mentioned to me before the show is the preparation that Eric Musselman does with his guys, not only from the offensive end, for the defensive end, showing where they need to be, showing what the opposing guards, forwards, and centers like to do on the offensive side, on the offensive end. He wants to make sure that they're as knowledgeable as possible before they head in. I remember one of the quotes from the Hog Pod with Bo that he talked about, and Bo asked him straight up, have you ever felt like you've been in a game and the other team prepared more than you? He was just like, no. It's just a plain answer, no. And I think that preparation isn't everything. Talent has to, a little luck has to play into winning games at the collegiate level, but it never hurts to over-prep. And it really seems like through 3 games in the season, these guys have been prepared from a defensive standpoint. You hope the offense comes because it hasn't necessarily been there the last 2 games. But here's a stat for you for those who haven't seen it. ACC men's basketball put this out on Twitter that Virginia was the only team in the shot clock era and the first since 1948-1949 season to hold their first 3 opponents to under 50 points. Well, the Arkansas assistant coaches were up in arms because, we're doing that too. So they added that to it.
I think the ACC account put that one out before Arkansas-Montana was a final score. So they jumped the gun and maybe did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. So I think the Arkansas, the fans are just, again, defense doesn't sell tickets, but wins sure do. And if this team keeps it up, I know they're 3-0 non-conference, and you're really going to get to the meat of your schedule once conference play starts. But you have to be pretty satisfied with what you've seen so far in Bud Walton Arena, Phil.
2 instances, I think, where defense does sell tickets. Bill, you're right. I mean, people want to show up for more points. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they're usually going to a game expecting to see a great defensive team. And the bad boy Detroit Pistons, maybe they were showing up expecting a boxing match instead of just defense. So maybe boxing back then sold a lot of tickets. And so did the Detroit Pistons on the road, too, because you never knew what Lambeer and Isaiah would try to pull off. James Edwards, Rodman, of course. Yeah, the defense usually doesn't quite sell tickets, but there's 2 cases where I think it did. Wins sell tickets.
Yeah.
Wins sell tickets. And right now Arkansas looks like a team that, let's look at it from a coaching perspective. I mean, how often does it? How many games does a coach win you per year? By the ability to prepare a team, coach them up, get them to buy in, outside of recruiting, and deciding who's on the court. Yes, that's going to make a decision, but how many wins a year does a coach get you. You know, I've heard that in baseball a lot. Major League Baseball managers, head coaches in college. How many victories a year does the manager or head coach actually win for you? I have a feeling there's something about Eric Musselman and his staff, and it's because of the preparation, and it's because of the buy-in, that this Arkansas team, which is small, and short on manpower too, that they're probably going to play better than expected. I think for most of the media that put in the voting, what were they picked? 11th?
11th in the SEC, correct.
There's something about Musselman, and maybe we're just projecting a little optimism here, and I probably am. I have a feeling he's good for maybe 3 to 4 wins per year. Maybe not in the conference, but I think that this is a coach that, let's play some of these clips. Preparation is huge. And look, when I'm doing a play-by-play broadcast, I got to prepare for every single broadcast. Mm-hmm. I have a little bit of talent, and these two things put together hopefully lead to an entertaining and informative and well-prepared broadcast. Now, that's partially what being an athlete also is all about. It's like you said, the preparation and the talent come together, and the stick-to-itiveness and the hard work and all of that. But if you're not prepared for an opponent, I don't care how bad the opponent is, it will show in your performance. When you watch this Arkansas team play defensively, they are truly prepared for who they are being ready for. Just look at the way they shut down Saeed Pridgett, the top scorer for Montana, who turned it over 7 times, went 5 for 12 from the field, had a rough day overall. And I want to play the clip of both Adriel Bailey and Mason Jones. I think we start the clip with Bob Holt asking the question, how do they prepare for this guy? And keep in mind, these are 2 players that were recruited by Mike Anderson's staff.
Eric said in practice, I guess Reggie played with Pridgett a lot. I think he said whenever Reggie or whoever was playing, Pridgett would score, a siren would go off, and you guys got pretty sick of that.
Every time,
what was that like?
Every time, Reggie played Pridgett in practice, so every time he caught the ball, we had to shrink the floor, and the siren would go off. If he caught the ball, if he tipped the ball, a siren would go off.
All you did was, That's all you heard. All practice. That's all you heard.
I feel like that would get quite annoying, Phil, after a while, and I would be very frustrated. I would make it my absolute point to lock down and play as good team defense, and it's particularly lock down Pridgett in the actual game based on everything that led up to it that week, just in practice and everything.
Do you have the rest of the clip where Jones is talking about how he feels that the team is prepared in a scouting way that they were not prepared in last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's all to me. That like the way we prep for games. If the only way it'd be hard to beat us. It'd be hard to beat us.
Coach must have been putting us in the right position, knowing each player, knowing each play that they run it's incredible.
They keep harping on it. It seems like what we were talking about, Phil, is Eric Musselman speaking to how he preps for games, and it seems like based on what we've heard in these guys in press conference that his idea, what he wants to game plan for, and the way they go about it, it's almost getting similar to my sickness being passed on to my coworkers. In a sense, his tenacity is being passed on to players and how they want to game plan and how they want to prepare for games as well, Phil.
A lot of coaches will say, look, we're not too worried about our opponent. We're worried about us. It's all about us. It can't just be a one-sided preparation. You just can't be worried about how you're playing and where you're improving. You're playing an opponent who is preparing for your weaknesses. And when I sit down with Mike Neighbors after a women's basketball game and talk about how well his team has played defensively, he's always going to point to Todd Schaefer, who prepares all of the scouting reports for the opponents. And he works his ass off at getting those scouting reports prepared. Mm-hmm. And these girls are in the film room a lot. So they know when they show up as a Razorback to play for Mike Neighbors that they're going to be better prepared than most players out there. And it's the same with Arkansas baseball, because every single game they are prepared for the pitch repertoire of not just the starter they're about to face, but all of the relievers, the strengths and weaknesses of the pitchers that they're going to see. And Nate Thompson and Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs, they work their butt off to get those reports prepared for these players. And look, I know that in Mike Anderson's tenure that they prepared for opponents. I just don't know if it was this much in depth, because you're hearing two guys, Mason Jones is the one who said it, that he feels that they are better prepared for their opponents than they were last year. That rings true, and that is a loud statement. It's not a finger at Mike Anderson and say you did a bad job here because of this. It's more an idea of this coach you have now, who prepares detailed scouting reports for every single player that he sits in the living room with their parents and says, I want you to come to Arkansas. I'll get you prepared for the next level. This is exactly what I think of you as a basketball player, and shows them detailed analysis of it. This is exactly what Moses Moody was talking about when he decided to come to Arkansas. It's because they know him in and out, and they know their opponents in and out.
Aaron in Clarksville texted on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He says Muss discusses the deficiency. He doesn't make excuses. He feels like that's a big difference from Anderson. I don't necessarily know if that's like 100% true in terms of comparing to Mike Anderson. And there's going to be some people that will text and call the show throughout basketball season and will point to, hey, he does this a lot better than Anderson. He does this better. And they'll just they'll buy into the Muss bus, and we'll see what actually happens during SEC play. But I think from a speaking to a recruit standpoint, you were talking about with Moses, it seems like that they get acquainted with the deficiencies and efficiencies of the recruits a little bit more, and what they can project them as college players in his system, and then eventually to get them to some pro level, Phil.
Take the rankings for what they're worth 3 games into the season, but Arkansas, third best scoring defense in the country, third best three-point defense in the country. It's 3 games in, but this team is playing completely bought-in lockdown defense. Don't forget to register for the big giveaway that's going to get you 3 nights in Branson at the Hilton Hotel, tickets to a Christmas show, the North Pole Adventure at the Shepherd of the Hills, a Christmas music Ferris wheel ride at the Track Family Fun Park in Branson, restaurant gift cards. It's brought to you by the Branson Convention Visitors Bureau and hitthatline.com, along with ESPN Arkansas. Go to hitthatline.com. You can register once a day up until December the 10th.
Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. your #1 Arkansas fan.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631520.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendinitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones out between the circles. They've got Anderson out fronting him. Joe inside feeds Witt for a baseline jam. Joe drew the defense. Witt floated the baseline, and the Hogs are up by 3.
877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Get with me and Ty Richardson all throughout the show up until 2 o'clock. We are talking Arkansas football. And yes, the Razorbacks are a 46-point underdog to LSU. Just so that you can have a little perspective to this, third week of the season, Ty, you want to take a swing as to what LSU is favored at home against Northwestern State? This is the Wildcats out of Natchitoches, an FCS program.
I'm going to say 42.
They were a 56-point favorite at the open of the line, and the line went down to 51.5 by the time it was the game started. And the final was 65-14 LSU.
So I wonder what the money line would be if you bet on Arkansas to win this game, what you could reap if they somehow, some way found a way to win this football game.
I'm sure we could find a way to do that. LSU was a 27-point favorite week 6 against Utah State, a game that they covered rather easily, and now a 46-point underdog against a team in the very same division. This is something else. Actually, the line that I'm looking at here, I got 44 points on my Pinnacle, on 5 Dimes, on 365. I can't find a money line yet. So
it's 50,000 plus 5.
50,000.
It says plus 5, 0, 0, 0, 0. So what is that?
That's 4 zeros. That's 50,000.
Yeah, so
that is quite the money line.
But so what does that equate to? Because I got to rehash this because it's not 50,000 to 1 if you bet $1.
Well, you got 5 teams in the SEC this weekend that are playing outside of FBS, and you can't put a bet on any of those. So there's only 2 games that you can gamble on if you're an SEC fan this weekend. One of them is Georgia A&M, Bulldogs favored by 13. And the other one is Missouri and Tennessee. Mizzou favored by 5 at home. And right now it doesn't look like Missouri could score against a Pop Warner football team.
I think if I have this correct, someone who's better when it comes to gambling talk, text us in on the Cherokee Casino hotline if I'm wrong. But I believe, Phil, 50,000, that means it's 50 to 1 odds. I think you take off the last 3 zeros if you're doing the actual odds. So I believe, again, don't hold me to this, but I believe if you text or if you bet $10 on Arkansas on the money line, you could win $500, and then just do the math with whatever allotment of cash you're wanting to win. And Phil, they have won in Baton Rouge when the Tigers have been number 1 before. So I know the 2 times I looked it up because I just wanted to make sure I was under the impression that the only 2 times they played when LSU was number 1 was 2011 and 2007. I looked it up this morning. I believe that to be correct. So they won in 2007, the triple OT game. We all know about that. And then they lost in 2011 in a game that was close until the Honey Badger really took over and Arkansas couldn't get going in the second half.
Who's our listener who texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline that he saw a dead hog on the highway while he was driving around northern Arkansas and thought that might be an omen for the weekend?
Let's see.
Did you really need a dead razorback on the road or a dead hog on the road? I don't even. Are there even? There isn't even really a razorback anymore in the state. I don't think there's actually been a real razorback in the state for a long time. But apparently there is a dead hog on the side of the road where one of our listeners was tuned in. Was it Sean? I don't know if it was Sean and Alma, but we did get that. I can't wait until we have Connor O'Gara come on because he had the tweet of the day, Ty. And we're in this position now where Ty is, now that he's got his new hours over there at ESPN Arkansas, he doesn't have to wake up at 3 in the morning and go to bed at 6 to be ready for a morning show. He can wake up, he can go work out, and we all get to know about it because he'll tweet it. He'll tweet a photo from
just Mondays. Just
Mondays. You've actually closed it down. All right. So he said, what did your tweet say? It was you're trying to be optimistic about it, saying you're starting the week with a workout, and somehow it's gonna, that it could lead maybe to an Arkansas win. Was that what I gathered from your tweet?
Well, I just said LSU week set the tone. I took the picture, and I guess Connor saw the picture, and there was in the Planet Fitness picture I took, there was a trash can, and he replied to it by throwing up in the trash. And I found that pretty funny because obviously the Tiger fans like to drink down there in Baton Rouge. I actually have a few buddies that are making the trip down there. I know John has a few buddies that are taking a party bus down there from somewhere in Arkansas down to the Baton Rouge, which I thought was pretty crazy, but. It's going to be a wild weekend, and I think I honestly think I know it's early, but I think the Hogs are going to cover. 46, that is a lot of points for a rivalry game, and I know that you just had the firing of Chad Morris. I know that there's a possibility. By the way, we haven't mentioned this yet. The quarterback depth chart has been put out, and there are 3 number ones listed: K.J. Jefferson, John Stephen Jones, and Nick Starkel. Those are 3 number ones listed, so you have that. I just think they'll be able to keep it within 46 points. Something tells me, I know that doesn't sound too optimistic, but I just feel like it's going to be within 46 points, Phil.
Ty, come on. They've been outscored 198-60 in the last 4 weeks. Western Kentucky treated them like a little league football team. LSU is going to put up 60 points or more easily, and I don't care who's at quarterback for Arkansas right now. And maybe some of the guys are happy that Chad Morris is gone and they're ready to give better effort. But that Arkansas offense, I know LSU's defense isn't really all that good, but Arkansas's offense stinks. And I don't see Arkansas keeping up to the point where, as of right now, I could buy into them covering 46.
42's not keeping up.
No, it's not keeping up. If you're putting money on it, then that's keeping up. Then that's the keeping up you're worried about. I just don't see it. I don't have any faith.
46 is a ton of points.
It's not an SEC team. It's not. We've seen that. It's obvious. It's not an SEC team. They didn't have an SEC head coach for the last however many games. Is it the same play caller? Is Craddock still calling the plays? We don't even know who the quarterback is. Come on. I see LSU covering this. Now, I'm not going to put money on it.
Yeah,
but by the end of the week, I'll put my fake money, my monopoly money, where my mouth is on Friday.
How about we have a friendly wager, then head-to-head, that we may or may not follow through with some monetary value?
You can buy me my first drink on Dixon Street Friday night after we go attend the Arkansas-South Dakota basketball.
The game's not until Saturday.
It's a Saturday game? No. The basketball game is
I realize
Saturday.
that, but I'm not going to pay up because Arkansas is going to cover, and you're going to owe me.
It's already decided, Ty. LSU's going to cover. Pay up. Buy me my drink Friday night.
I think most fans are optimistic to a certain extent where they think Arkansas.
They're just optimistic that Chad Morris isn't the head coach anymore. Maybe that buys you an extra 7 points.
Yeah, 46 is a lot of points, Phil. One of the biggest things I've learned about betting, and that I learned the hard way, is you don't bet blowouts. You don't bet the big dog and blowouts. That just 40-60. That's a ton of points. If you're so confident, man, put your money where your mouth is. I want to see a receipt slip from Bovada or Betting Online AG or something that
you know me better than that. You know me better than that.
$10 isn't going to kill you.
Not putting money on it, but I am gonna show reasons all throughout the week. Well, I don't see Arkansas covering it. Because I think they're going to give up more points in this game than they've given up all year. LSU is trying their best to impress the College Football Playoff Poll Committee, and they're going to do everything they possibly can to put a butt-whooping on the Arkansas Razorbacks. 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. Stephen in Fort Smith says, Hogs cover pure heart play. Yes, that's all in your heart, Stephen, and I appreciate the heart. Eddie in Clarksville's dialed in, but we're coming up to the break, so I want to make sure I give Eddie a chance to scream about this game on Saturday against LSU.
Well, he wants to talk basketball, so he's, I guess, already moved on from football.
Season's already over for Eddie. It was over a long time ago, if you ask me, even in Eddie's mind. So he wants to do a little basketball talk. All right.
I have a little note in my my daily task that I write down every day when I fall through here at the radio station to add in more basketball regionals. I know I've sprinkled them in here and there now, but I feel like the conversations, especially if the basketball team keeps winning, they got a game Tuesday night and a game on Friday night that Phil and I will both be attending, that it's just people are going to keep asking for more basketball-related conversation and basketball-related stuff. So I think I'm going to toss those in there from now on, Phil.
Mike in Fort Smith wants to know where he can bet the game. He wants you to text that. Kevin in Alma asks, do great coaches still cover when it's a 46-point spread? Well,
good coaches win, great coaches cover,
Great
Phil.
coaches for your pocketbook. That's right. And B from Clarksville says it's called optimistic. A caller from Ozark to Ruskin and Zach had given him that word last week. Halftime is brought to you by the Fence Man, and if you own a business that needs more security or more curb appeal, the Fence Man has a fence that can give you both. They specialize in custom installations and been doing it for over 40 years. Gates, controlled access card readers. The Fence Man is there for a quick, no-obligations quote, and all you got to do is call Henry at 479-782-3936, 479-782-3936. The Fence Man is a division of Quantum Property Services.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Turn November into Yes-Vember at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Hi everyone, David Neal here inviting you to come see our best inventory yet. It's Black Friday all month long with savings up to $13,000 on a new 2019 Silverado Z71. That's over 25% off. We have new Chevrolet Blazers with up to $6,000 off. When it comes time to find your new vehicle, visit us at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, exit 2A off of I-540. We have prices you'll love and people you can trust. Road Chevrolet, find new roads.
See dealer for details.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Football, fine weather, and my chance to flip the lot. We're out to sell every single car in our Rath Road Ready inventory and flip the lot during our fall clearance. That's right, every vehicle must go. To make it happen, we're discounting our entire inventory with savings up to $4,300 below retail. Even our special purchase vehicles are included, like 2018 Hyundai Elantra SELs for only $13,991. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and 50% off brake pads. Don't miss out on the savings. Help us flip the lot. Get the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you and save up to $4,300 during the fall clearance at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Here comes Michaela Daniels again, brings it to the right corner, hands off to Ramirez. Skip pass for Dungy, fakes the three, brings it behind the back, crossing over, spinning her way to the rim, and a beautiful layup and a foul. Yeah, that was a highlight from yesterday's Arkansas women's basketball victory over Stony Brook, 88-58. They took the lead on this dazzling layup by Chelsea Dungy. Behind the back, crossover, then a spin. There's 3 and 1. And
she
finishes
didn't walk?
beautifully. No, she didn't walk. That's maybe the more amazing thing. Finished with 19 points. Amber Ramirez, the transfer from TCU, finished with a game-high 26. We'll get into some of that stuff later on. State of women's basketball is very good. And I have a feeling that our next caller here on the Cherokee Casino Hotline, Eddie from Clarksville, is of the opinion that Arkansas men's basketball is in the right direction, too, because he wants to talk about forget about the Must Bus, right, Eddie? You got another sort of vehicle you're riding for Eric Musselman.
That's exactly right, sir. Let me say this. When you talk about the Gus Bus, let me say I've followed Coach Malzahn's career since he was at Springdale High School. And he's known for the creator of the Wildcat, and he brought it to Arkansas. But let me, for the Wildcat to work, you've got to have players to execute it. And I've watched the last year or two, his tenure at Auburn, his inability to develop a quarterback. And so that's what's happening at Auburn now. Look at it. You'll be in the same boat. You want to go get Gus Bus? You know about it? Well, listen, with all those players, and he has 4 and 5 stars on the majority of his team, and he still can't get it done. I think we got to think outside the box and take a chance on a man that's at Memphis and go get the man and bring him up here. He's a young man, and somebody's going to hire the man. I believe he can get the job done. He's young, energetic, and I've been here to knock on Mr. Norvell. I don't care what the young man does in his personal life. If he's a gambler, let him gamble. But I care about wins on this field, and I think if you're looking between Gus and Mike Norvell, I'd go get Mr. Norvell. I'd sign him tomorrow. But let me say this let's get to this basketball hawk train. Look at what, I could not be happier. A home run hire by Mr. Yurchek. This man is going to take us back to national promise sooner than later. And now it's called in this morning. I made a plea to 2 players still out there in state that come to their home state. Hey, we're going to get rolling with or without you. Hey, K.K. Robertson and Brian, Mr. Jalen Williams, why not come back, sign at the U of A, and get on, let's get this basketball home. We're fixing to do something great under Coach Musselman. It's early yet, but he's got the basketball home train rolling. And he's headed in the right direction, no doubt about it. One, the man has his team prepared to play basketball. And so how important is that? You're seeing it on the court today. I mean, look, we're playing defense. We're knocking them down at the line. and we're going to be 75, 70, almost 80% at the line, and we're going to win a lot of games this year. And we don't even have a front court. Well, I'm going to tell you this, it's coming.
Hey, thanks for the call, man. I think people are really excited about this basketball team, but I hate to keep on saying this, Phil, but you're 3 games in, and I know some of these teams that you played so far might be projected to get close to win or win their conference, but you still have to temper your expectations a little bit. He mentioned K.K. Robinson and Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams is going to be committing, deciding between Auburn and Arkansas this Saturday.
What's Williams' size? He's 6'10"? That's what I thought. That's a bit. That'd be a big get. I mean,
he can
this
shoot, stretch the
floor. There's one thing. Look, I know you got a lot of good athletic shooting guards that are committing to Arkansas right now, but this, you got to have somebody that can plant in the lane and have some size and play with some physicality. And so I think this Saturday with Jalen Williams. So it'd be a really big announcement for this program if they get him.
He's one of the top rebounders in the eyeball league, if that's how I pronounce it. I remember that statistic keep popping up when it concerns regarding him as his statistics in the AAU league. But, yeah, can stretch the floor. I need to go watch him a little bit more since I do live here in Fort Smith and watch him on some Friday and Tuesday nights. But big get, and then K.K. Robinson out of Bryant at Oak Hill Academy will be committing between Kansas and Arkansas next week. But you hate telling listeners this, Phil, but it's just the obvious truth. It's the painful truth that you can't really diagnose or discern much about this basketball team until you start seeing what they do, maybe at Indiana, maybe at Georgia Tech, and then really in the meat of conference play.
Well, something Musselman said in the postgame presser Saturday, that it was good to not have our best offensive day, struggle to shoot, and still win because of defensive effort. But, how many games will Arkansas win when they finish 4 for 20 from the three-point line? It's a team that still is going to have to score some points. They're not going to hold, SEC teams under 50 points on a routine basis. That's just not going to happen. The lack of depth on the team does worry me a bit, and that's not to Musselman's fault. And right now you're playing with what, 7 players, and an eighth would be Reggie Chaney whenever he's off the suspended list, and that's about it. Other than Ethan Henderson and Ty Stevens, that's it. So your roster really is like 9 or 10 players. Your rotation more than anything is just 8, and there's not. You can't get into a track meet. This is not a team that, even as well conditioned as they are, they I don't think they can get into too much of a game of back and forth. I think you'll need Isaiah Joe to step up and improve his ability to score. And he struggled from the field against Montana, 2 of 13, 2 of 9 from the three-point line. I don't know if Arkansas wins a lot of conference games if Joe isn't in double figures. I think the effort defensively is one thing you can hang your hat on. The scouting report is another. But it is a team that's going to have to consistently go out there and not have 4 of 20 from the three-point line on a routine basis.
One of the other things that we haven't mentioned in a while is the possibility of Kyrie Walker coming in semester. 4-star kid out of Hillcrest Prep, can play a number of different positions, 6'4", 6'5", can shoot it, can get to the rim. I don't know if you want to do that, if the chemistry is really good heading into next semester, heading into really the meat of the basketball season, but that's still a possibility. He's considering Arkansas to come, and Musselman seems to have pretty good traction with him. I don't know if that's going to happen. I can't give you a percentage because I'm not a recruiting person. That's more of a Nikki question, but that's also something you have to think about. And then you think about the addition whenever Reggie Chaney comes back, you would assume that he's just going to be lumped back into the fold because he's one of their better players, especially in terms of big men, Phil.
Barry Loney Jr. finished his press conference in front of the Arkansas media, and he did let the media know that there will be no player availability this week, 0. This tweet coming from Nikki Chavanel, who attended the press conference, quote, "I'm not going to let them talk to y'all this week. This has been a lot for them to digest. It's been an important time for unity. I'm going to be the voice right now, and that's what we're going to do." So it's all Barry Lunny all week long. I guess the coordinators won't talk, the players won't talk, and the depth chart shows 2 oars at quarterback, Ty, which means, Lunny's not going to show his hand as to who the quarterback is going to be. I don't think it really matters very much for LSU, but
matters for the spread.
KJ Jefferson, John Stephen Jones, Nick Starkel, all listed with an or between them. But no Ben Hicks on the offensive depth chart. So potentially we've seen the last of Ben Hicks take the field at Arkansas. Interesting, very interesting. No player availability all week. It's going to be Barry Lunney. And, the honest thing about this, Ty, I don't know if there's any other way to handle it. The players talked a little bit last week, but this is leadership on Barry Lunney's part. It's a smart move, a very smart move for the players to remain mum and let the head coach do legitimately all the talking.
I'm not sure that there are many members in the media that have your same sentiment, your same point, but I don't have that much of a problem with it. I know that it's kind of fun to play players' clips throughout the week during our show, during the morning rush, and I know there's a bunch of writers and stuff that will be a little frustrated that they don't get any insight on what the players are thinking, what they're talking about prior to LSU, but if you really want to get this team focused, I don't have that much of a problem with it, but there's a big difference with the idea and actually going down to LSU and win and just staying competitive or keeping it, more importantly for us, within 46 points, Phil.
More importantly for you and apparently one of our listeners who's decided to, for the first time in his life, put money on a game.
So do you think, let me ask you.
Was this Mike in Fort Smith says he wants to put money on this game for the first time? It's
Mike
a bet that's all heart, Mike. Be careful.
So what I encourage people to do, and this is a little different because I just think the line is too much, to bet against Arkansas in games because either way you win. The Hogs either win or you win money. You can't lose. Like that's just one of those things. If you're truly a bettor that wants to try and win money or just wants to see the Hogs succeed, I think you always bet against Arkansas because you win either way. But I can't see it. Maybe I'll feel different the week. We'll see where the money comes in on this week, Phil, if the 46 goes up or if it goes down. But I'm really curious to see how the line plays out this week and then obviously what happens in the game on Saturday night.
Ty, it doesn't matter straight up or against the spread. Arkansas's record is 2-8 in both ways.
That's fair.
0-3 against the spread on the road. 6 o'clock. Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Baton Rouge going nuts. Number 1 team in the country. They might put up 100.
The basketball team has more wins in 2 weeks of their season than the football team does throughout its entirety, and we'll finish that way.
877-377-6963. Get with us in the second hour next.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Elma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
Get more at Orr.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold. Or Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
The list of things I rely on is short. There's my recliner, the lawnmower, the kid sitter, and above all, Michelin tires. Get the tire that's ready to make every stop in every season. And for a limited time, get yours with a $70 reward card after submission when you buy a set of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
See MichelinMan.com promo for complete details. Offer valid between 11/13/2019 and 12/13/2019. Void where prohibited.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather overnight, things stay nice for the next few days with high pressure over the southeastern states. Clear and chilly for the overnight hours, 30 to 35. Tomorrow looks mostly sunny and mild. We'll be in the low 60s. Tuesday, plenty of sunshine and upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Good morning, Vietnam! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on now, Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like it?
Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
877-377-6963, our Cherokee Casino hotline. That's good for the next hour for a phone call or a text. Phil Elson here along with Ty Richardson. And Major League Baseball putting out the, well, it's not Major League Baseball, the Hall of Fame. Baseball Hall of Fame has put out the ballot for induction into the Hall of Fame 2020. The announcement coming on January the 21st, and the induction on July 26th in Cooperstown. Former Razorback Cliff Lee is debuting on the ballot. First time he'll be there. I doubt Lee gets anywhere close to the 75% necessary to make it, but maybe he'll get the 5% to stick on the ballot for another year. Jason Giambi, Bobby Abreu, and Derek Jeter are the, I guess you call them rookie ballot rookies. So some people wondering if Derek Jeter is going to be voted in unanimously, which I guess, I mean, it's never I don't think it's ever happened before unanimously. Jeter's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, but if he'd be the first ever unanimous pick, I think that'd be a little bit of an eye raiser. Other players debuting: Josh Beckett, Adam Dunn. I mean, really, none of those guys have a shot. You got Schilling, Clemens, Bonds, Larry Walker, Omar Vizquel, Manny, Scott Rowland, Todd Helton, Gary Sheffield, Pennant, Sammy Sosa, Andrew Jones returning to the ballot. So maybe in a month or so, I'll give you who I would vote for, and you know I'm going to put Barry Bonds.
You don't get a vote?
I don't get a vote. You know, you've got to write covering a team for at least 10 years before you are allowed membership into the Baseball Writers Association of America, and then get a vote. So I've never been a writer for a team for 10 years, and they don't give broadcasters in college that vote either. It's not like the Heisman Trophy where like everybody and his or her grandmother and mother and father and sister have a vote.
I know.
There's so many more voters for the Heisman Trophy than there are for any of the Halls of Fame.
So Bill has a vote. I believe it's Tom or Bob that has a vote. I know Trey Beatty has a vote. Is there any other Arkansas media members I'm missing that vote for the Heisman Trophy? That'd be cool. I would love to get like an email some days like, you've been selected to vote for the Heisman Trophy. Like that would just be such an awesome type of message to receive just in an email one day.
Well, if everything is true on Wikipedia, it says 870 media voters. That's a chunk. That's a large group of people, and I actually thought it was a little bit more than that. All right, so we'll get into that later on in the month. We continue to talk some Arkansas football stuff. You know, we were kind of questioning the idea of Gus Malzahn as an offensive genius in the first hour and even in our opening segment. You know, in the Wildcat, it just isn't like a big thing anymore. You know, you're going to have other things to pull out of your hat. The Wildcat was so 2008. And I don't know if it really works as much right now. I mean, look, you got to be able to develop quarterbacks if you're going to be an offensive guru, you know? And you can only rest on the laurels of one really, truly great quarterback for a long time. The track record speaks for itself here. Jeremy Johnson and Sean White were abject failures at quarterback at Auburn. Jarrett Stidham got worse in 2 years, and some NFL scouts thought that Malzahn ruined him for the NFL draft. Bo Nix, I mean, and the jury's out. He's a five-star athlete, but doesn't really look right now like he's gotten any better from the first week of the season.
And I'll give
decent against Oregon, and I mean, you're playing some of the best defenses in the country, but they just don't look very good offensively.
And I'll give a little leeway to Bo Nix because he's a true freshman, but I think if you truly thought he was going to be the quarterback, he picked him over Joey Gatewood, then you would expect more out of him at this point of the season. And you can point to his struggles on the road. Yes, you could say that's a true freshman, but he struggled at home a little bit. Perfect example. Couldn't really do anything against Georgia on Saturday, Phil.
Yeah, again, Auburn rests on the laurels of their defense, not on their offense. And the head coach gets credit for the wins, but the coordinator, you know, will get credit for the performance of that unit. And this is the year that Gus Malzahn took over the play calling at Auburn. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he can point to anybody else for the problems of getting into the end zone. Auburn is 8th in the SEC in scoring offense, 31 points a game. That's 3 points per game fewer than they scored last season, and the same number of points per game they put up in Stidham's first year. And a lot of it's built on the ability to run, but they haven't really been running very well of late. 10th in the SEC in rush yards, 167.5 yards per game. Now, out of the last 5 years, Auburn has finished in the top half of SEC in passing yards just twice. They're 9th this year, 14th, dead last 2 seasons ago, 12th in the 2016 season. And as far as total yards go, they're 11th this year, 3rd place last season, 6th place in total yards in the SEC 2017, 10th place, 2nd place 2016 and 2015. I mean, there are some decent numbers there, but none that necessarily point to the thought of the guru now really being an offensive guru. If he comes to Arkansas, are you getting the same caliber athletes that you got at Auburn? Are you getting the same caliber offensive linemen? Or is it really at this point more about trying to squeeze a little bit more from the fruit than is really inside?
So I heard Gus Malzahn talking about that exact point on the Jocks this morning. Paul does a weekly spot. For those who don't know, he did Birmingham sports radio for quite some time, that same station. He goes on them with the morning guys every Monday, and he was talking about that exact thing. If he's really not able to have success offensively with some of the better players in the country at Auburn, what makes you think he will be able to somehow turn it around at Arkansas? And that's a good question. I think it's a question worthy of being asked. If he can't get it done with better players, you're not going to get better players at Arkansas than you would Auburn. That's been proven over and over. Just look at the recruiting rankings. I mean, then you can point to the idea maybe of just a change of scenery will be good for him, just to change the place. You know, when you get stuck in a rut in whether it's like a relationship, a job, or whatever it may be, sometimes it's just better to move on. Sometimes it's better for a change of scenery. I like Gus Malzahn. I think he would be a good fit here, but again, I don't know have enough of an athletic director's acumen to make a just decision of hiring a guy, or would that work out long term. But I think those questions are worthy of being asked, Phil. Would he be able to have better success at Arkansas offensively than he would Auburn? And it doesn't, based on what you've seen at Auburn these last couple of years, it should scare you a little bit if you're an Arkansas fan thinking about wanting to get Gus Malzahn here.
877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. We'll take your calls and texts up until the top of the hour. one of our texters had asked about it. He doesn't hear about Kevin Sumlin's name thrown around very much, and wondered why. Well, I mean, Sumlin has been like a consistent 8-7 game winner when he was at A&M. The 2 years at Arizona haven't really polished his credentials to come back into the SEC, but potentially with 3 10-win seasons, 2 of them at Houston, he did build a program at Houston. And kept Texas A&M at least competitive and relevant for most of his 6-year tenure at College Station. Maybe that's the kind of coach that can help stabilize an SEC team, but it hasn't happened at Arizona. So I don't know if you look at a coach who's got back-to-back losing years in the Pac-12 and say that's the guy that we are zeroing in on to try to turn things around at Arkansas.
And Phil, I feel like any name that we mention, there's always going to be pros, there's always going to be cons. I know we talked about this a little bit with Lane Kiffin last week and some other candidates. You're not going to be able to check every single box if you're Hunter Yurachek. You're just banking on the idea that your guy that you hire ends up fulfilling what you think he's going to do, and it's better than his cons. It's better than what you think could go wrong with his tenure. And that's just scary as an AD as it does with any hire.
We're brought to you by Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren, and the year-end clearance sale continues right now. Let them take the stress from the holidays away with a newer used RV. Breeden even lets you pick your deal. You get your choice of either sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever works best for you, Breeden RV is good to work with you. Plus, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life. That's Breeden RV on Alma Highway in Van Buren. You can also go on the web, BreedenRV.com, to see all of their inventory and learn more about their pricing. 877-377-6963. Halftime back after this.
On this program, you're listening to Halftime.
I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
This is the Morning Rush.
You know, somebody actually texted into yesterday with a conspiracy that Jerry Jones is going to make sure that Urban Meyer is hired at Arkansas for 4 years, and then after 4 years, he's going to fire Jason Garrett at the Cowboys, and then he's going to make Urban Meyer the head coach of the Cowboys. And what's weird is I actually didn't totally think that was the craziest thing I've ever heard when it comes to conspiracies.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Eagle Crest Golf Course is open, and winter rates are now in effect. Just $35 to enjoy Eagle Crest Golf Course, card included. Winter rates are back, and Eagle Crest is ready for you. Lush zoysia fairways, beautiful bent grass greens, and the best views in the River Valley. Just $35, card included. So get your golf buddies together and head to Eagle Crest Golf Course. Winter rates just $35. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Looking for a bit of cowboy flavor? Introducing Hardee's Southwest Patty Melt, a hearty sandwich with all the taste of the great American Southwest. We're talking a hotter, juicier, thick burger made with 100% black Angus beef, pepper jack cheese, zesty Santa Fe sauce, and enough pickled jalapenos to give it a kick. If it got any more authentic, we'd have to serve it with a cactus and a side of tumbleweeds. The Southwest Patty Melt, now at Hardee's. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Hotter and juicier beef patty as compared to the Hardee's original beef patty.
Deer season, duck season, and the holiday seasons are here. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear and gift items for all the season. Firearms, footwear, archery, waterfowl, fishing, cold weather clothing, workwear, work boots, casual shoes and boots, hiking boots, and hundreds of great gift ideas for the holiday season. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. Get amazing fast fiber internet, 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for only $79.95 per month. TV packages from the basics to our amazing Altered TV, starting at $32.95. Fiber phone services start at $29.95. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out if we are installing in your area, or call 1-833-4-WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The biggest discounts ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. 2019 Ford F-150 regular cab. The lowest price ever, only $19,999. 2019 Ford Escape slashed to $23,750. And the 2019 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive Super Cab, only $29,999. The biggest discounts ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And Derby's got the first down. A.J. Derby then hits the speed. How about that? Did he stay in? Touchdown, Arkansas!
Halftime rolling along up until 2 o'clock. We have Connor O'Gara joining us in 15 minutes from Saturday Down South. We'll ask him the last time he threw up in a trash can while working out, when your team that you love facing the number one team in the country. But that's in 15 minutes, as we poke a little more fun at our friend Ty Richardson back there in the ESPN Arkansas studios. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. And Keith in Marshall is on the line right now. Keith, what's going on?
Hey, guys, enjoy your show. Out of all the sports programs in the state, I really enjoy y'all the most. And,
hey, thanks so much.
Look, yes, sir. Look, I really think, I just want to think outside the box. A lot of people don't agree with this pick. But I'm really looking forward for him. I'd like for him to hire Lane Kiffin. And I believe Hunter, he tried to hire him when he was at Houston, and that was his choice. And I really believe that's the type of coach we need to get at Arkansas, because I know his dad's probably 80 years old now, Monty, but he's going to be a consultant on that defense. He was a defensive genius. And I just believe Lane would be a good recruiter for the state of Arkansas. And I know he messed up when he left Tennessee, but look, no longer than he was there, he kind of turned that program around. Thanks, guys. I'll hang up listening.
So he's made some good points. If you look at Lane Kiffin, he had a 7-6 year at Tennessee, then bolted for USC. You remember the recruiting violations that USC was going through. He didn't pan out there, and then he's gone to FAU, has an 11-3 season. They go 5-7 last year. They're 7-3 this year. And he spoke to Monty. I think Clay was talking about in the Morning Rush how Monty would be an analyst just like that he was talking about. And it's one of those things where you can use Monty as a guy that knows defense, that Lane can understand defense better, because he's obviously always going to be an offensive guy first. I just think, I know maturity has gotten better, but as a high-profile job in the SEC as Arkansas is, the pressure that would be mounting on you, I wonder if some old things would creep back up for Lane Kiffin. It's one thing to coach football in Boca, be near the beach and stuff. It's another thing to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and face the pressures coming off potentially 2-10 football seasons and be the expected savior of this football program.
Right, but whatever the expectations that Arkansas fans would put on Kiffin, or that he would put on himself, and what's expected at Arkansas, that's not the pressure that you faced at Tennessee. I mean, there's more pressure on the head coach at Tennessee, it feels like, almost anywhere else sometimes. When you also look what they're up against, it seems so unrealistic. And at USC, I mean, the expectations at USC are to be a national contender every single season. And Tennessee wants to get back to what Tennessee had been when Philip Fulmer was the coach. I mean, here's somebody that obviously didn't meet those expectations, but those aren't the expectations you're facing at Arkansas. You're not expected to be a national contender every year. You're not even expected to win the SEC West every year, or any year. Maybe every 4 or 5 years contend for the SEC West. What they're looking for right now is some sense of progression in the right direction that leads to stability. And that stability is competitiveness in the division. You know, 3rd, 4th place, challenge for 1st or 2nd place every 3 or 4 years. That's the expectations I think that you have at Arkansas. Whether as a fan you want to have a national champion or not, those are not the expectations that you face at Arkansas. That is what you face at Tennessee. As unrealistic as it is, that is what you face at USC. Again, almost as unrealistic as it is, but USC still plays the sort of schedule and has the same kind of athletes, theoretically, where you can maybe compete for that. That's not what you're facing at Arkansas. I see them as totally different jobs, although they're all FBS Power 5 programs, and maybe Kiffin has matured a little bit. You know, I would like to think I'm a little more mature than I was when Kiffin was the head coach at Tennessee. What has it been, 8 or 9 years? People change a little bit over that time. Maybe he is ready for another shot at a Power 5 program, and maybe he is the kind of coach that can turn things around and get you some stability.
I had a buddy text me at close to midnight on Friday night, seeming that he just hopped on the Kiffin train all of a sudden. It seems like that name has been picking up steam as of late, and the Hunter Yurachek connection almost connecting the dots with him at Houston. From what I heard and what I've read, Tillman Fertitta, who's the big-time booster down there at Houston, owner of the Rockets, wanted Major Applewhite, and that's why Hunter Yurachek hired him, at least from what I've read and stuff and what I've heard. So that there's
who does Jerry Jones want as the head coach at Arkansas? Then, right? Did he want Chad Morris? Probably so.
I mean, yeah. You connect the dots. John Stephen Jones, his son Chandler on the same high school team. Dallas guy, Texas high school. Again, we're never going to know this because we don't know what goes behind closed doors. Phil and I are not in those conversations. We're not in those meetings, but you put 2 and 2 together. It seems like that was a Jerry Jones type hire. We'll see what happens with this next one.
Well, money buys you a lot. It does buy your name on lots of buildings. It does, and there's something to be said about business acumen. But if Jerry Jones had a true, real hand and maybe a decision in hiring Chad Morris, maybe you want to let him step out for the next coaching search.
Yeah, which is hard to do because he's done so much for the University of
Arkansas. Of course. You can't say no to Jerry Jones. It's impossible.
But here's what I'll say about this. Just based on what we saw with the Eric Musselman hire, based on what happened during the basketball coaching search, it seems like that Hunter Yurachek has his confidant in John Fagg, I believe, is the guy that it seems like that they do a little related. They're the ones that kind of keep it in-house.
And he's a holdover from Jeff Longstaff.
Correct. So, again, we've talked about it once. We'll say it again. It just doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of leaks concerning who's going to be the actual guy hired as the head football coach. So I'm wondering with this hire, because you got to remember, I know he was he was the one that was coming in. Yes, he okayed the hire according to Julie Cromer-Peoples, but now this is Hunter Yurachek's supposed guy. This is his supposed show. And I know that big-time boosters, the Board of Trustees, potential Chancellor Steinmetz have a say, obviously, in what's going to happen. But I'm wondering if Hunter's just like, you guys hire me to do this job. This is why I'm an athletic director. Let me do my job. Let the ownership of what happens with the next football coach fall on me. And I'm wondering if he can just kind of work freely with his group, or if in this case maybe him and just John Fagg, and see what happens with this coaching search. Because the more people that get involved, Phil, it seems like more often than not, it's more likely of a screw up or a mess up in a hire because more people have their opinions and stuff. That's just my take on the matter.
877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. JT in Hot Springs says he thinks the board hiring Chad Morris scares coaches because they wonder who's really in charge, if it's Hunter Yurachek or if it's a board of trustees. And I think in the last coaching search, it's legitimate to feel that way. You have a real full-time athletic director who's hired football coaches before, rather than an interim athletic director who isn't quite ready for the job. So in this case, I would trust the thought that it's the athletic director who's making the choice in this case. Shane from Dirk says, what do you think about Greg Schiano? Let's ask Clay Travis, and it'll be one of the rare moments where I will agree with Clay Travis. Let's go to Ronald in Flippin. He's called in on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Hey, Ronald, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, yes, this is my first time calling. I listen to your show every day. I know everybody has their own opinion, and I just think, I've been a Razorback fan since 1970, and I think we need somebody that bleeds Arkansas red, and somebody that really, truly wants to be at Arkansas. And I think right now, if they don't go after some young coach up and coming, that like the guy from Memphis, then maybe they should bring Houston Nutt back, because that he is all out for Arkansas, always has been. I know he left on bad terms at the end, but he had a decent record, and I think he would be the one that could turn us around, the quickest right now.
Ronald, appreciate the phone call. Didn't Houston Nutt go on the Buzz in Little Rock? And I don't know if you say he was campaigning for the job, but he was asked by the morning hosts if he would be interested in it, and he said yes, that he would be, but only if the fan base would be unified. And I wonder if the fan base, and again, this isn't a discussion about Nutt's yays or nays as far as ability to coach now, all these years after he was a coach last time at Ole Miss. The question would be, has enough time passed where Arkansas fans are willing to start anew with somebody that you have a pretty long past with? Some look at him in a positive way and others don't.
I'm not a fan of retreads, and that would be a retread. Yes, maybe he would bring a little spark back. The energy we know would be there. It looks like he still got it based on what you see on TV, on CBS Sports Network, and every once in a while CBS. I just don't see it, Phil. And to Ronald's point about getting an Arkansas guy, there's just not there, and there's just not very few. There's very few, if any, candidates out there that want to be an Arkansas guy. So to equate to what happened here, like, people ask me, why did you move from Nashville to go back to Fort Smith? Because I wanted to do Arkansas sports radio. I didn't like talking Predators. I didn't like talking Titans. I didn't like talking pro stuff. I wanted to talk Arkansas and SEC football. I wanted to be back here. But there just are the pool of candidates who have an Arkansas connection of some sort is so small, so minute, and so hard to choose from. That should not be a concern of Hunter Yurachek. You want a guy that wins football games and that can get acquainted with Arkansas, just like so many other coaches in the past have done here, Phil.
Ronald, again, thank you so much for the call. Halftime is brought to you by Road Chevrolet. Yes, November continues, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren is where they're turning November into Yes November. Come to Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. See why it's the place to buy your next vehicle. 2019 Silverado ZEEF 71s up to $13,000 off. That's over 25% off new Silverados. So many deals going on right now. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Find new roads. See dealer for details, Phil.
Talking with Connor O'Gara, college football after the break.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser. That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Joe's Grilling Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grilling Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Hi, it's David Neal with Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, where we are turning November into Yes-Vember. Come to Van Buren and see why Road Chevrolet is the place to buy your new vehicle. We have new 2019 Silverado Z71s with up to $13,000 off. That's over 25% off new Silverados. Only at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Visit roadchevy.com to see our full inventory. That's RHODES, Chevy.com. Prices you'll love, people you can trust. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Find new roads.
See dealer for details.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? XL Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with XL Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
It's getting colder outside. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. So why pay more to heat your home and water? The convenience and abundant supply of American-produced natural gas makes it the right choice. Call AOG or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
This human resources professional is a rock star thanks to Kronos. And this is her hype song.
I'm the spark before the fire. I'm the power in the train. I
have HR, payroll, talent, and time.
I'm the dream, you should know that.
Now we're engaging all the best people.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
Conor O'Gara knows just about everything going on in the SEC and also the Big Ten. He covers college football, editor and columnist at Saturday Down South. That's the SEC site, Saturday Tradition, covering Big Ten. Conor, I got to give you some credit, man, and I don't know if you remember all the tweets that you tweet each day, but your tweet to Ty Richardson's workout tweet this morning was a thing of beauty. There's more of a chance of him puking in the trash can than Arkansas beating LSU on Saturday.
You know, I was going to respond with, I was going to say, you know, Jesus walked on water, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to go run out onto the Atlantic Ocean. Like, you know, I was going to make a comp like that, but then I thought, let's stick to the trash can. It's the main part of the photo. Probably a better way to kind of sum up what I think of Arkansas' chances this weekend.
What do you think of a line that opened at 46 points? And it's down to 41 right now, or 42. But Ty and I argued about this earlier. I don't see Arkansas stopping LSU at all. I don't care if the players now have bought in or not. It's really impossible to stop LSU unless you're Auburn, and Auburn's defense is light years ahead of Arkansas. I got a sense LSU could cover this 42-point spread on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the question is going to be how quickly can LSU score to make it so that are they going to get to the point where they make sure that the spread is already covered and then they bring in Miles Brennan? Because, the situation the other day against Ole Miss, it looked like, Coach O kind of said coming out of the halftime break, he said, we saw what happened with Tua today. We want to get Joe Burrow out of this game as soon as possible. But then they couldn't stop Ole Miss. So I think it kind of depends on if they're able to jump out to that early lead. I tend to think that LSU is still going to cover in this game. And I realized that, what we saw the other night defensively from them was pretty ugly. Arkansas, coming off of the bye week and having a chance to sort of regroup in the post-Chad Morris era, you never know how that team's going to come out. But, yeah, I tend to think that this offense is just going to have their way with the Arkansas defense, which has not really been fond of tackling this year. I think that's going to be just extremely difficult. But, you never know. If who knows if LSU goes up 49-7 or something like that, or 49-14, and then they pull the starters, does that allow Arkansas to cover? I wouldn't rule it out totally, but I'm also not going to sit here and predict Arkansas to cover based on everything that we've seen so far this year.
You put it so nicely sometimes, so very sweetly, not interested in tackling. That's one way to put it. That is definitely one way to put it. So let me ask you about this Tua Tagovailoa injury, which is sad in so many ways because it might derail what could have been, potentially a great, if not good, NFL career. And you never like to see somebody deal with a hip injury because that's the kind of thing that can really lead to a long recovery, and sometimes you never fully recover. But in the context of Alabama right now, I remember thinking early in the season they're going to have FOMO on not having a Tua backing up Jalen or vice versa. So it's up to Mac Jones. Can Alabama really get to the playoffs and win a national title with Mac Jones at quarterback?
Well, I don't think they're going to get to the playoff. I mean, I think the path is extremely slim. I thought that even with Tua at 100%. I just think that the opportunity for quality wins simply is not there. It's a different story than 2017, the way that Oregon, Oklahoma, those teams have been playing with the path to potentially get in as a one-loss Power 5 conference champ. I thought, the selection committee is going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I wasn't necessarily high in Alabama's chances at all. I still think that they need 2007-level craziness in order for this to actually happen for them. But if they were to get there, I wouldn't totally rule out the idea of Mac Jones being able to surprise some teams. This is somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of film out there on him. Cardale Jones, everybody remembers what he did back in 2014, coming in late season where he was able to beat Alabama, ironically enough, and have, one of the more memorable three-game runs that we've ever seen in college football history. I don't think Mac Jones is Cardale Jones, but at the same time, the receivers that he has to work with, the offense that's in place, everything is set up for him to succeed. And I wouldn't necessarily rule out Alabama's chances of being able to beat Auburn and have a good deal of success against that team, especially if Auburn can't figure things out offensively. I think that Bama's going to have a fairly decent chance to at least run the table, and, who knows what can happen in a bowl game if they were able to, I don't think that they're, like I said, I don't think they're getting to the playoff, but if they get to a non-playoff New Year's Six game, we don't know what the Alabama roster would look like with all the potential NFL departures and all that guys who would be sitting out. But, yeah, I'd be fairly confident that Mac Jones can lead this offense. I think it's, just going to be at a different level than what we've seen from Tua, and I think the identity is going to shift a little bit more to the ground game with Najee Harris. But, yeah, I don't think they're falling off the face of the earth anytime soon.
Talking college football with Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Connor, let's talk about that Alabama-Auburn game in a couple weeks. Even without Tua, I still think that Alabama's going to be able to win that football game. That's going to put Auburn, assuming they win this week, at 8-4. And let's say they lose the bowl game, they could be 8-5. You think Gus Malzahn's out the door after this year?
It's amazing when you put it together like that, the cause and effect, that the butterfly effect that these things can potentially have. Where how could the Tua injury impact the Arkansas coaching search? You think about something like that and whether or not Gus is able to win in the Iron Bowl to end the regular season. I ultimately think he's going to be back, but I'm not definitively saying that he's absolutely going to be back. But that buyout is still $27 million. $27 million for a guy who is essentially one win away from going to his third New Year's Six Bowl in 4 years. Ask Arkansas fans how they feel about going to a New Year's Six Bowl in 3 or 4 years. Yeah, it's different when you're talking about, a program like Auburn and the expectations that we see, and the lack of offensive development is frustrating. But I tend to think that $27 million is going to make them come back for another year. They're going to want to keep Bo Nix and see if this offense can develop a little bit more in 2020. And I just think that, yes, while it's been frustrating this year, that number is just too high. And I just wonder if, the stars aren't necessarily going to align for Arkansas to be able to actually make a play for Gus, because he's still going to be employed with Auburn.
Let's flip it from the SEC West towards the SEC East. They've really reeled South Carolina since that win against Georgia. Is there a potential that Will Muschamp could be let go at the end of this season?
Again, it's the buyout. It's what this keeps coming back to. The buyout is just too high, and that's what it feels like right now with South Carolina, where Will Muschamp, everybody in the world knows that he has not performed up to the level that many thought he could be at this year with this defense. And everybody's getting high on South Carolina after the Georgia win. since that game, they're 1-4, and it's been a total disaster. I mean, their one win is at home against Vandy, so take that for what it is. But I tend to think, and a lot of people tend to think, that 2020 is going to be the year that defines Will Muschamp. A program like South Carolina doesn't pay upwards of $20 million for buyouts for head coaches. It just doesn't. I mean, Florida State, I realize, just did that. That's Florida State. South Carolina isn't Florida State. I think that Will Muschamp and everybody is going to know that the pressure is going to be on him in 2020. And he's going to need to succeed, and he's going to need to take this program to new heights, as he talked about doing, just this last weekend. So I do think that Will Muschamp is going to get another year, and that might not be a popular opinion among South Carolina fans right now, but these buyout numbers are they're absurd. They're ridiculous.
Connor, in about a minute, and we've had so many names thrown out about this Arkansas coaching search. I want to ask you about Matt Campbell. And I know it's Big 12, and you focus a lot more on SEC and Big 10, but I know you're paying attention to what's going on nationally. And, I mean, here's a guy in Campbell that built Toledo up to a really good MAC program. Winning at Iowa State, even 8 games a year, feels like a pretty big accomplishment. Now, I know it doesn't have SEC ties or, recruiting reach inside this portion of the country, but a guy that can win 8 games a year at Iowa State, to me, can probably, maybe, I guess is the right way to put it, build a program at Arkansas. You have an opinion on Matt Campbell?
Yeah, I like Matt Campbell a lot. I wonder about, again, the buyout. What Arkansas would have to fork over to be able to get somebody like Matt Campbell on board, where that is, if you're shelling out the big bucks to get somebody like him, I'm all for teams going all in, all that, but if I'm not mistaken, Iowa State made it pretty difficult for another team to come in and poach him, and I'm not sure if that's a move that he's going to want to make at this point when he's kind of got Iowa State built into a competitor, a team that can compete with the likes of Oklahoma and Texas. Why go to Arkansas when he can have better opportunities, better jobs waiting? This is somebody that was rumored for the Ohio State job last year. I don't know that he's going to want to go to a place like Arkansas. It would make a ton of sense for Arkansas. That's the exact type of candidate that they would need, somebody who can succeed offensively with, not necessarily a bunch of 5-star guys, but I tend to think that he would want to hold out and want to stick around Iowa State and hold out for a better job if that opportunity presented itself.
You said buyout 3 times in the last 3 answers, and I could ask you in 10 seconds or less. Do you think there's going to be a point anytime soon where we're not talking buyouts as much as we do?
No. These agents, credit to them. They have done their work, and they have made it really difficult for these coaches to at least get fired and not get paid for it, or for teams to come in and steal them. It has not been a something that we expected to see in the beginning of this decade, but as we close it, buyouts are going to be a very, very big topic of conversation the next month.
Appreciate you, Connor. As always, talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Cherry on the top of halftime's coming up next.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Miss Anna's on Towson is quickly becoming one of Fort Smith's favorite haunts. We're now serving breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Blue Plate specials served Monday through Friday. And don't forget about 99-cent Pie Tuesday. So whether you're craving some of our great kickin' chicken or one of our world-famous desserts, Miss Anna's is the place to be. 5001 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, 649-6300. That's 649-6300.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Fall is here, and at Frank Pro Furniture in November, now is the time to buy. Come in and take advantage of our many made-in-the-USA products. Lift chairs, we have them. Sectionals, reclining sofas and loves, we have them. Bedroom furniture and mattresses, we have them. We also carry a variety of appliances and TVs. In November, come in and receive 10% off on any purchase. Ask us about our financing programs. We have several options that will meet your needs. Only at Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
I think you love that car more than you love me.
Oh, how could you say that?
You hand wash it, you hand wax it, you listen to the same music.
Pure coincidence.
I just hope your insurance company feels the same way about it as you do.
They do. I'm one happy camper.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance. We have great agents who are nuts about cars. We're competitively priced, and our claims people are fast, fair, and friendly. To find an agent near you, go to shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Wade Gilkey, in Fort Smith.
Or call me, Jim Malum, in Charleston.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
McFadden, the number 2 rusher in the SEC behind Kenny Irons. Boy, he hits that hole. Upfield he goes. Watch out. McFadden at the 25, 15, 5. Touchdown.
Time for the cherry on the top for halftime for this Monday. As we take you up to 2 o'clock, Rusk and Zach will be with you at 3. You got the Chiefs and the Chargers on Monday Night Football, ESPN. Not a terrible matchup. We'll see how many Chiefs fans fill up the Chargers' supposed home stadium. That is it's going to feel like Kansas City West, like every home game for the Chargers has this year.
That's such an odd thing, and I know Vanderbilt kind of has the same thing to deal with at their home games with so many people wanting to attend Nashville, and they don't sell out their season tickets. But it's demeaning to the team, regardless if they're good or not. The fact that even in your home venue, you're outmatched from a fan's perspective, Phil.
Well, they don't have a fan base. The fan base for the Chargers was in San Diego, and they pissed them all off. So, I mean, if there are any Chargers fans left in San Diego, they're not going up to Los Angeles to support that team, to support that ownership. And the Rams do have history in Los Angeles. They still had people that rooted for the Rams the years that they were in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there was this built-in fan base to return to. And look, both teams were good last year. The Chargers aren't good this season. The Rams are kind of so-so. But it's going to be even more interesting if the Chargers stay in Los Angeles whenever this new stadium is built, where they're sharing it, to see, because the Rams have real fan support. They'll have good crowds. And at the very same stadium, the Chargers will not have good crowds. It'll be amazing to watch. You know, I don't know really the difference in like season ticket sales between the Giants and the Jets. And I think there's been a lengthy waiting list for the New York Giants for a long time. I don't think the Jets necessarily have, that long of a waiting list. But I don't think their attendance numbers are as different as the Chargers and Rams will be once they actually do open that new stadium. 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. Aaron in Clarksville says I got a potty mouth today. It's not today, Aaron. It's every day. It's just a matter if it comes out between 12 and 2. The radio filter will always work for a play-by-play broadcast. So the words you've heard me say today and even last week and the week before, I won't say those on a baseball broadcast. I'll let Bubba Carpenter say all those things because he will say pissed off. He will say, well, he won't say ass, but he will say poo-poo lip. You know, that's a whole different thing. You know, I guess it's all a matter of who your partner is and who's going to do the cursing, you know, because between me and Ty, I've got the dirtier mouth. Between me and Bubba, well, it's a coin flip.
It just depends on if we're on air or off air. Because I've said this before. I don't have the best word usage when it comes to my off air, especially when I'm playing golf, FIFA, or basketball. Then my words really get flying, and words that I should not be saying, I tend to say more often than not.
Oh, that's all right. I still like you anyway, though, Ty.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's do some 3 up, 3 down.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning. Strike 3.
6th season covering Arkansas women's basketball and Arkansas baseball. And I've been going up to Northwest Arkansas since the Naturals moved their AA team from Wichita to Springdale. So what was the first year there? I think that was 2007 was the Naturals' first year. So I've been going up to Fayetteville on and off for 12 years and really been beating a path back and forth for these last 5 years. But I finally, and this is my first up, I finally drove the pig trail. For the first time, I drove the pig trail. Maybe not the entire pig trail, but I made the turn off at Ozark at the where Workman's is located, and I took that highway up through Cass and then made the left turn at Highway 16. You know, went through Crosses, Cass, Huntsville, a few other spots that I don't remember. The crazy switchbacks that you have on that drive. Ty, have you ever driven the pig trail before?
So I have. One of my buddy's dads, when we were going to Arkansas basketball camp when I was either in middle school or early high school, took us on that. And it's cool. I don't want to do it every time. There's sometimes I want to get up. But when I'm in a little more of a scenic mood and I just kind of want to go back to the remember when type stuff when I was a kid and every once in a while we did it, it's a cool thing. If you haven't done it before, you need to do it at least once or twice.
Well, it's the first time I've done it. And usually I'm on a clock. I got to make it for a 3:30 first pitch and be there at a certain time. I thought I had like an extra 45 minutes going up for yesterday's women's game. So once I came to the exit in Ozark, I figured, you know what? I know nobody's going to be on the road today. It's not like there's a football game to worry about. And, you know, that's the thing with a 2-lane road. You know, you don't want to be stuck behind anybody. And I wasn't. So I was able to enjoy the drive. Saw just a little bit of a trickle of a waterfall, and it was enjoyable. Cool. And I'm excited to do that again the next chance I get. So I finally feel like does that mean I'm finally a Razorback now? You know, now that I've driven the pig trail.
I feel like there's a couple things you got to do, and that's definitely one of them. We need to come up with a list. We need to compile with the list. Our listeners need to help us out with it, like things you need to do to become fully immersed in Arkansas or fully immersed as a Razorback.
Aaron in Clarksville reminds you, when you don't want your phone to ring, take the pig trail. No signal, and boy, you are absolutely right. If you're listening to something, have it downloaded before you start the pig trail, and make sure you've got your maps up before you start it as well, because you're not gonna find a signal at all.
That's like me driving through Podunk, Oklahoma, coming back from Dallas this weekend. It's just there's about an hour and a half stretch of just one bar or no bars. So you better have your maps loaded already, and you better have your music on Spotify. On Spotify, no download. Otherwise, you're going to be in a long little car ride, Phil.
First down to his hip injury. It's terrible to see, and I couldn't help but be reminded of Bo Jackson being injured in the very same way. You know, just what looked like a routine tackle go down awkwardly. For a lot of people say, look, he was trying to protect his left ankle the way he went down, and ends up hurting his right hip. Hip injuries are unlike any other injury. They take a lot of time to come back from. And I know his college career is over. I wonder how much of a pro career Tua is going to have now. And I already had my concerns about Tua, who would be going to a really bad NFL team as the number 1 overall pick instead of Alabama in college football. He's shown a little, being a little. He does get injured a little more often than some other quarterbacks, but now with a hip injury, I have a feeling that there might not be much of an NFL career for Tua. Hopefully I'm wrong, but Bo Jackson never able to come back from that hip injury in a football sense.
Yeah.
You don't hear about hip injuries very often, and when you hear about them, they are brutal.
There's a reason he was carted off the field on Saturday. It looked rough, and if you watch the highlight, both the Mississippi State guys, and it wasn't malicious in any intent. It was just it was a tackle, and he's releasing the ball. It wasn't a late hit or anything, but it looked rough. First up for me, Phil, sickness. It's gone. I passed it on to my other coworkers. Unfortunately, it's kind of rough for them.
Celebrating in other people's misery. Well done, Ty.
Yeah. Down for me. The Baylor game was awesome. It was a wild atmosphere, but for them to be up 28-3 and lose that football game 34-31, that was tough. Luckily, I didn't go to Baylor, so I wasn't as invested as my cousin I was sitting next to and my uncle, who are both Baylor grads, and my dad, who wasn't at the game but watching at home, was probably pretty ticked off after the final score. He gets mad about two things, USA Soccer and Baylor Sports. I anticipate that he was at least thinking about throwing the remote on TV on Saturday night, Phil.
My second up, Mike Trout won the MVP in the American League late last week for the third time. He's also now been either the MVP or the runner-up in 7 of the last 8 years. Now get a load of this. It makes Trout tied with Stan Musial and Albert Pujols for the most top 2 finishes in MVP voting ever, and he's 28 years old. Only Barry Bonds has finished in the top 2 in MVP voting more than Mike Trout. Mike freaking Trout. That's exactly who he is. My second down, Major League Baseball has a plan to eliminate 42 minor league baseball teams and entire minor leagues in order to save money. Now, we can't really get into this too much right now. I brought it up, I think, last week. Mm-hmm. It would be good for college baseball, but it would be disastrous for growing the game of baseball at a grassroots level because there'd be so many smaller cities that just have no way to watch baseball. I hate this idea, and I hope Major League Baseball finds a different way of going about this. So that's my second down.
Second up for me, how about Jonathan Williams yesterday?
Brissett, quick pass to Williams. Williams with room to run. He finds daylight into Jacksonville territory. As you said, James, they almost kind of punted on that.
They only listened to the first part about what I said.
So Jonathan Williams, former Hog, has his first 100-yard rushing game in the NFL. Good to see him. He gets in. I forget if it was Hines or Mack that got injured, but he got to play a little bit yesterday. Second down for me, the Lakers are good again, Phil. They're 11-2. Now I'm having to see Kobe watching LeBron at a Lakers game. I'm not a Los Angeles fan, so that's definitely a second down for me.
Third up, Arkansas women's basketball had their third different leading scorer and third different player with 20 points or more yesterday in the 88-58 win over Stony Brook. This time it was Amber Ramirez with 26 points. Chelsea Dungy has scored over 20 and led the team in scoring. Michaela Daniels has done the same. And, oh, by the way, it's just 4 games in. They've had 3 different players do this. Third down, Ty tried to steal one from me in our picks. We'll get to that tomorrow.
That's not what happened, but whatever. All right, third up for me, Thunder beat the Sixers. Jerister, if you're still listening, one of my friend's dads, they were at the game. Big-time Philly fans. It was fun to rub it in their face on Friday night. Down, Nelson Aguilar had a game-tying touchdown last night for the Eagles. He dropped it, and the Pats won.
I got a fourth down. The show's over. We need another hour. We could have done a little more of this. Maybe we'll get into that later on. Have a great rest of your day. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.